Spies live by masks. I've worn so many I sometimes forget my own face. Once I was the son of a minor mage, the boy who could light candles with a snap of his fingers and charm tutors into thinking he was a prodigy. Later I was the council's golden operative, a blade hidden in silk, a liar with steady hands. When the arcane council whispered, I listened. When they demanded blood, I bled others dry. This mission was supposed to be routine. Infiltrate Castle Drenmark, uncover Lord Kaelric's secret to raising armies faster than graves could fill, and neutralize it. Survive, if possible. But from the moment I crossed the drawbridge, I knew this wasn't routine. The castle breathed magic, not the gentle hum of protective wards or hearthfire enchantments. This was wrong. It clung to my skin like humidity, buzzing faintly in my bones. Dark energy, alive and hungry, threaded through the stones themselves. I adjusted the mask I wore today, that of a war scholar, summoned by Kaelric to advise on magical strategy. My illusions made my robes scholarly, and my staff ornamental. I smiled softly, bowed politely, and let everyone underestimate me. That's how spies survive. Kaelric greeted me in the great hall, tall, imposing, his armor polished obsidian. His voice was velvet wrapped around a blade. Scholar, he said, thoughtful, eyes sweeping me, like a hawk sizing up prey. I trust you'll find Drenmark enlightening. I bowed deeper. Play the part. Always play the part. An honor, my lord. I study war to prevent it. His laugh was low, humorless. Then you've come to the wrong place. I spent my first day exploring, under pretense of curiosity, noting guard rotations, hidden doors, and the faint tremors of magic beneath the floors. The deeper I went, the stronger the hum grew, like a heartbeat buried under stone. By dusk, I needed air. I stepped into the training yard and saw her. In the center of the yard, a woman fought 6 men at once, and won. She moved like a storm given human shape, relentless, beautiful, terrifying. Her sword flashed arcs of silver as she flowed between opponents, each strike precise, every parry economical. She fought not with desperation, but with certainty, as if survival was inevitable, as if she was inevitable. The crowd of soldiers around her whooped and hollered, cheering her every blow. When the last opponent fell to the dirt, disarmed and gasping, she straightened. Sweat gleamed along her neck, catching the sun. Golden eyes, gods, I'd never seen eyes like that, scanned the crowd and landed on me. Enjoying the show, scholar? She called. I blinked, caught off guard by the directness. Observing, I said. She strode toward me, sword resting lazily on her shoulder. Up close, she was taller than I expected, all sinew and scars, a living testament to battles survived. You've got the look of a man who's never been cut, she said. Plenty of cuts, I replied, forcing a faint smile. I just prefer mine on the inside. Her laugh was like a steel striking flint, sharp, startling, warm. Careful, scholar. Cuts on the inside bleed the longest. I'll keep that in mind. She tilted her head, studying me. Name? Theron. Serenya. She offered no title, none needed. The yard whispered her name like legend. I shouldn't have cared. She was Kaelric's champion, his hound, as the soldiers called her, the blade he unleashed on anyone who dared oppose him. But every day after, I found excuses to linger near the yard. To study combat forms, yes, but truthfully, to memorize her. The way she wiped sweat from her brow with the back of her hand. The quiet concentration in her gaze when no one was looking. And in those moments, I almost forgot I was here to dismantle her world. Night fell heavy on Castle Drenmark. The torches along the walls burned green, not gold. A telltale sign of magic twisting flame. The halls smelled of iron and smoke, faintly acrid, like blood spilled too long ago to scrub away. I walked them in silence, hand on the unmarked dagger hidden inside my robes, mind counting steps and turns. A spy's mind never rests. Every hallway memorized, every exit measured. The council's orders echoed in my head. Find the source of Kaelric's power. Neutralize it. Do not compromise the mission. Easier said than done, when the source breathed beneath my feet. I found it 2 nights into my stay. A vault buried under the keep, sealed by runes older than the castle itself. My magic peeled them back like old paint, and there it was. A crystal the size of a man's chest, pulsing like a heart. Each beat whispered with faint echoes, screams, battle cries, dying breaths, souls, dozens, maybe hundreds, bound, consumed, fueling Kaelric's rise. I traced the energy threads running from the heartstone upward, following them with my senses. They branched like veins, reaching the barracks, the training yard, and there, brighter than all the rest, a single tether thicker than the rest. Serenya. Every battle she fought, every drop of blood she spilled, it all fed this monstrosity. Her victories weren't just for glory, they were sacrifices, binding her tighter to Kaelric with every cheer of the crowd. I told myself I cared because of the mission, because severing her tether was key to destroying Kaelric. But the truth? The truth was I couldn't stand the thought of her being used like that. I lingered at the training yard again the next morning, watching her crush 3 armored men without breaking stride. When she laughed, raw and unrestrained, I felt something in me crack, something I'd long thought calcified. I was a spy, a liar. I had no right to feel anything for her, and yet, every night I found myself imagining what her voice might sound like if it wasn't sharp with defiance but soft with trust. The night I broke into the vault, everything unraveled. I'd timed it perfectly. Guards asleep, moon hidden behind storm clouds. My illusions cloaked me from mortal eyes as I descended into the heartstone chamber, silent as breath. The crystal pulsed harder tonight. Kaelric was feeding it. I could feel the souls writhing inside, clawing for escape. I raised my hand, murmuring the spell that would shatter the runes binding it, and end Kaelric's army in one stroke. Steel hissed, a blade kissed my throat. Don't move. Her voice was quiet thunder behind me. I turned slowly, dispelling my illusion with a thought. Serenya stood there, golden eyes ablaze, her sword steady, even as shock flickered across her face. "You're no scholar," annoyed she said. "Who are you really?" I considered lying. Spies always do. But something in her gaze, wounded, searching, stripped me bare. "No mask, then?" Softly. I said softly. "I'm a spy. The council sent me to end Kaelric's reign, to stop this heartstone, to stop him." "And me?" That question cut deeper than her blade. "You're bound to it, sad," I said. "Every fight you've won has been feeding him, killing you." She flinched, barely, but I saw it. Silence stretched. Her blade didn't lower, but her grip wavered. "You're telling the truth," whispered, voice cracking. Relief, betrayal, hope, all tangled together. I knew something was wrong. "Help me," determined, I said. "We can end this, together." She lowered her sword, slowly. "Fine," she said, breath shaky. "But if you lie to me again, I'll put this blade through your heart." I almost smiled. Fair enough. That night, in the flickering dark of the vault, a bond formed. Fragile, dangerous, undeniable. Two weapons, tired of being wielded. Planning rebellion in a castle of enemies is an exercise in controlled madness. Every hallway whispers betrayal. Every shadow hides a blade. And yet, with her beside me, the danger felt almost bearable. Serenya knew the castle better than anyone. Between battles, she'd memorized every servant's passage, every disused tunnel meant for escape, though none ever led her far enough to freedom. Now they became our lifelines. We walked them at night, whispers close enough to feel each other's breath. I showed her cloaking runes, she showed me blind spots in the patrols. Our plans were stitched from scraps of trust, fragile and desperate. One night, as we crouched behind an old tapestry listening to guards pass, she asked softly, "How long have you been lying to people?" "Since I was 15, I whispered back. The council needed someone invisible. I was good at pretending to be what people wanted. Is that what you're doing with me?" Her voice was a blade in the dark, quiet, sharp, impossible to ignore. I hesitated. Then, honesty, raw, rare. "No, I don't know what you want me to be. I only know I like who I am when I'm with you." The silence that followed felt louder than a shout. We struck at dawn. The heartstone pulsed like a sun underground, its power bleeding into the castle above. Soldiers loyal to Kaelric, or enslaved by him, swarmed the halls as we fought our way down. Serenya was a storm of steel. Every motion was lethal grace, every strike a promise. I wove shields and illusions around her, turning arrows to mist and fire to harmless light. We moved as one, blade and spell, heartbeat and breath. By the time we reached the vault, the air itself burned with magic. Kaelric waited for us there. He was no longer merely a man. The heartstone's power had remade him, veins glowing like molten gold, eyes black voids rimmed in fire. His voice shook the chamber. "Traitors! Liberators!" Serenya spat, stepping forward. "Slaves!" Kaelric hissed, and unleashed hell. The fight was chaos. Kaelric's strikes cracked stone. His magic turned air to fire. Serenya met him head-on, unyielding, her sword against his unnatural strength. I danced along the edges, counterspelling, shielding her, burning through every ounce of magic I had. At one point, he shattered her sword with a single blow. I caught her as she staggered, my arms instinct, not strategy. "We end this together," I breathed against her ear. "Together," she echoed, fire in her eyes. I channeled every remaining spell into the broken blade in her hand. Runes burned along the jagged steel. "Strike the heartstone," I shouted. We moved as one. her swing, my incantation, driving the blade deep into the crystal. Light erupted. Souls screamed, not in pain, but release, surging upward in a storm of brilliance that shattered the chamber. Silence, the kind of silence that feels holy. Dust hung in the air like snow. The heartstone was gone, reduced to ash. Kaelric lay motionless, his body crumbling as the stolen souls fled him at last. I looked down. Serenya was in my arms, bloodied but breathing. For the first time in years, I prayed, not to gods, but to her. And somehow, she answered by opening her eyes. We stumbled out of the ruins together, dawn breaking over a castle no longer thrumming with dark magic. Soldiers fled, chains lay broken. On the hill beyond the walls, we stopped. The wind was cold. Her hand found mine, rough calluses against old scars. "What now?" she asked, voice raw. "Whatever we want," I said, and for once, I believed it. She smiled, real, unguarded, devastating. Then finally, she kissed me, tasting of blood and ash and the promise of a future neither of us thought we'd live to see.